Maggie Cross. Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton, and I am a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back for Kingdom Episode 2, Round 1, Part 1.
Okay, yeah, so this week we are back with our reaction to the performances that were on Episode 2 of Kingdom. These performances were the first 3 groups for Round 1. This week's round was called To the World, and basically all the groups had to choose a song of theirs. It's like a song or a message that you want to share with the whole world. But before we get into reactions, a few disclaimers, once again, really quick.
Okay, so as always, we have not watched the episode yet. We have watched just enough to know what the challenge is, and we will watch it after we finish reacting.
Next, we watch these performances in performance order to our understanding because we don't watch the episode, but the order that it's uploaded to the Mnet YouTube channel. So, the order that was uploaded to Mnet YouTube channel was first The Boys, then iKON, then BTOB.
We also won't pause the performances while we're watching them. It should be enjoyed as a full live performance, as if we are there in the audience. So we will give reactions as we're watching and then go back and give comments afterwards.
And then last disclaimer is, we know we can be a little bit picky with our comments, and like, that's not saying that they aren't good, because all of these performances are at a very high level, but we're going to be pickier with them because we know these groups and we already know how good they are. So once you're at that level, then you can start to be pickier.
And as always, timestamps in the pinned comment down below if you want to jump around. Let's go. Okay, so first is The Boys performing No Air, A Song of Ice and Fire. This is my favorite The Boys title track. I'm so excited. And I know a lot of other W's also wanted to see this in the show.
But also A Song of Ice and Fire, we've heard that their theme throughout the show is going to be Game of Thrones. Neither of us know Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wow.
Oh, that's the explosion we were waiting for. Yeah. Oh, is it just awkward ending fairies for 20 seconds again?
Hello. Oh, hi, Sanyo. The staging of this was impeccable, as always, which we talked last week too about how that's really one of their strengths, is they know how to stage the performances and how to use the camera work and the dimensions of the stage, not just on like the physical stage, but the seats, and apparently now they're also using the sky with Sunil, so they really know how to use the dimensions really well. Don't be wrong when I say this, because the dancing was incredible too, and I'm gonna have some comments about that afterwards, but for me, like, the best part of this performance was the staging and how they were using everything that they had to their advantage. Like, one of the moments that really sticks out to me is after Juyeon puts out the fire and then it switches and it's like Juangyeon, Kevin, Sangyeon, and Jacob, and they're like very clearly a camera rotating around with like the female arm that's decorated. It's just that sort of thing that really stands out in their performances. Something else that stood out to me though was in terms of the dance, like the feeling that it was giving off. It felt like Kings at Court. Compared to the original, obviously this is worlds different, which makes sense because of the concept and how they've changed the song, how they're staging it. But I really enjoyed how there were still some callbacks to the original choreography, like done in slight variations. Like, one part that stuck out was when Sonu was doing the day and night, Anjuna, like that part at the very beginning, and the formation was the same, and like the way they were moving their bodies to the music was the same, even if it was slightly different. And so it had like a similar feeling that brought you back to the original, and that happened throughout the dance. Like, I never really saw them do the key choreography for like the hook part, but there was like arm movements that sort of were inspired by it, so that was one thing. Also, like, my thing with Juyeon when I was like, point your feet, I guess this is my Ashiwo comment. I think I'm just harder on Juyeon because I saw him point his feet in Quasi-Yuma Fantasia, and that like was a very impactful moment to me in Road to Kingdom, and so now every time he doesn't do it, I'm just like, do it again. But that part was really cool, and like in terms of stunts and props, like, is this what Sangyeon meant in episode 1 when he was like, are we gonna have to be a circus? Because like, they had the underwater part, they had Sonu hanging from the ceiling, and like that poor baby is so scared of heights and does so much for his group. But like, and then they had the tapestry like dancing and like engulfing Juyeon, and I was like, wow, what are you gonna do next? And that's always my thing with The Boys. Like, how are you going to outdo this performance next when you've used so many ideas here? But yeah, I mean, obviously I really enjoyed it. Like, parts of it literally gave me goosebumps. Favorite title track of theirs, so I was happy I got to see it. Anna's turn.
Okay, so for my comments, I'm finally gonna talk about the music because when we were watching the performance video, I did not really say anything. Sorry about that. But I think part of it is it was harder to focus on details because one thing that I appreciated but also like made me not able to comment on the instrumental as much when we're watching the performance for the first time is actually the level that they had the MR at was lower, but that way you could hear their live singing voices come through more clearly. So I was like, you win some, you lose some. But now I got to like rewatch it so I could like intentionally focus on those. So now I can comment on some of those things. So a general thing, I feel like, I mean, based on the now 2 performances that we've seen from the boys for Kingdom specifically, I feel like for the rest of the show, they're going to lean more into this classical orchestral interpretation of their songs, or whatever songs they're performing. Classical orchestral interpretations are associated with being like more dramatic and like regal, which is fitting considering they're apparently doing Game of Thrones concept for the show. So it works. But the original song, No Air, is very like angsty pop. Obviously, like the arrangement is completely different. It is not angsty pop. It incorporates like so much strings. Honestly, the base of this is like strings and piano, but there's like bells, cymbals. As the performance progresses, like by the final chorus, like ending, there are synth sounds being used, but it's more like percussion layers to help build up the intensity for like the final intense, and then suddenly everything cuts out and like the whole, is it a fire thing that happens? Is it a rock? I feel like I would understand it more if I knew Game of Thrones. I'm sorry. But overall, like because of that, I felt a much more like grounded feeling than the original song, which makes sense because like there are moments of this where there's seemingly like desperation. Like the performance starts out with Juyeon like chained up. Obviously, there's still a lot of breath sounds in this. I mean, the song is called No Air, but also it adds to like the dramatics of the performance when it's like completely silent and you hear like a breath sound, or like all like the in out during Juyeon's cloth part dancing solo thing. Also, the sort of like chaotic descending strings that are happening during that section are really cool, like in time with the hands grabbing him. Last thing that I wanted to say is reasons why I've decided Hyunjae's part is my favorite part and the best part in this performance. For one, it's the first time that like a drastic pullback silence moment happens in the performance, which is impactful because it hasn't happened yet. Like when things happen for the first time, it's a bigger deal. Also, the piano line in the background is beautiful, but also this is the first moment and one of the only moments in this performance where the melody being sung, not only are the pitches different, but also the rhythm is different from the original song. And the only other times where that really happens is like the chorus sections where they're like belting out. Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful.
So do you remember in our The Boys series we were like, Hyunjae's gonna come for both of us?
This was the performance. Cool. Alright, that being said, next! So next performance we are reacting to is iKON doing 사랑을 했다 and 죽겠다 Kingdom version. A combination of 2 very iconic iKON songs. Let's go.
Love Scenario and Okay, so first thing, for my disclaimer, there might be noises coming in and out of the background. There's like construction going on down the street from my house and you can hear it, so sorry about that. But now, to start comments. So we did just want to briefly address like the whole production value thing and the misunderstanding, according to Mnet, between how much could be spent on each of the stages. And like, we're aware of that going in. We've been aware of that since like the articles about it came out. And so we just want to let everyone know, like, we know it's a thing. That's not gonna affect our comments. Like when we're looking at the stages, we're really seeing like how well are you performing? How interesting was the song arrangement? Like that sort of thing. So yes, props and stunts and everything do enhance a performance, but there's also something to be said for like natural stage presence and charisma on stage. So that being said, this was so musical-esque. And in case you didn't know, both Anna and I were theater kids growing up and like did musicals and theater and all that sort of stuff. So especially Like, I had that feeling right from the beginning when it started with Bobby and the girl in the chair, and then it like switched to Donghyuk under the street lamp, and I was like, this is so, like you said it, like La La Land. I was like, yeah, this is so La La Land. But then when they came out for the chorus of 사랑을 했다 and like the lights opened and the way the stage was lit, I was like, it's a musical. I loved it. I really think, I don't know about you because I really wasn't looking at you, but I was frozen. I was just like, because it was just so entertaining. And it really was. Like, it was so entertaining from start to finish. Loved it. Okay, so about the dances. Something that I really enjoyed about this was how, like, obviously it had been adapted and, like, the styles have been sort of changed because musical style is just different than the style of dancing that iKON usually does. But they had kept, like, point choreographies and, like, key dance moves from both 사랑을 했다 and 죽겠다 in it that, like, were sticking out. Like, right at the very beginning of the chorus, when June is in the front, and they're doing like the walks. Like, first of all, that's so musical-esque, but that's from the original choreography. Like, it's in the first verse of the original choreography. But the way they were doing it was different because in the original one, it's a little bit more like laid back, like sort of like swaggy. And this one was very like upright, like it's not bouncy, but it's sort of like staccato. And then for 죽겠다, the dance breaks that they did when like the lights get all dark and they have like the kind of like neon flashing lights going back and forth, that's also like from the original choreography, but then had been adapted for this version. And so I really enjoyed seeing that because the challenge is like to the world. So it's a song that like you want, or songs I guess, that you want the rest of the world to see. And for the show, obviously they're rearranging it. But since you're like showing your song to the rest of the world, I enjoyed that they like kept some of that like innate icon-ness. Also, Donghyuk had such an important role in this and really stuck out so much, especially when he was on top of both sets of stairs, like the white set of stairs with the hat and the mic stand. I was like, oh yes! And then when he walked up the black stairs when it switched to 죽겠다 and like fell, and there was no, like, it was like a, and the camera work there was really nice too because it like switched really quick. So it was very impactful. Last thing, I love how at the end, when everything's burning, they still kept some of that like icon factor, and they had like the party scene where like they're really close to the camera and they're like jumping around before they go back to the last like choreography section. And I just feel like iKON really is very confident in who they are and what their abilities are, and they use that to their advantage, and that was a really good example of that. And it just made it so fun. Also, it was like they were burning the stage because they were like so hot and so on fire and like anyways. Okay, Anna's turn.
Okay, so for my comments, literally the first thing that I wrote down was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what we asked for in our Kingdom Expectations video. And like, I had said something sort of like jazzy, and this wasn't the jazzy that I had in mind, but it's like close enough. It really was a musical in the beginning with Love Scenario. They just have the jazzy piano in the beginning, and that's already wonderful. But really, like, it sort of felt like a session. The Love Scenario arrangement really just felt like a session that was happening, especially like before moving on, how they did the counts, like the t, 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 and then going in. I was like, oh my god, this is a session. And then when they go into Donghyuk's part, at the beginning when they's dancing under the street lamp, when you hear the background vocals that are being sung, I was like, wow, they have established this setting storyline so clearly right from the start that when the background vocals were happening, I literally was picturing off screen there's probably like a barbershop quartet on the side singing into the like the old-fashioned mics, and then later on he shows up with like the old-fashioned mic that I'm thinking of. The story was just like so easy to follow and like so well portrayed. Talking more about the rearrangement of Love Scenario, the brass, when all the instruments come in, it's so fun and so bright and so light. Not just in 사랑을 했다, Love Scenario, but also in Killing Me. They use sound effects really well to like highlight little moments. So like the sound effects for his little Michael Jackson moment that happens at the top of the white stairs, and they have like the siren sounds that help with the storyline, the like lightning thunder sounds that happen, and then like the clink for the lighter that Chanwoo has. Especially I think it was affected in Killing Me because for Killing Me they didn't really rearrange the song all that much. Yeah, I don't know, like performance-wise, you really just said it, like they're playing to their strengths once again. Because now, after watching the Love Scenario performance, I'm having flashbacks to Mix and Match Treasure performance, and I was like, yeah, they can do this! That's literally what I was thinking. I literally rewatched that last week. My only sort of Ashua thing was that I mentioned I wish that, especially for the first half, to add to the storyline, the female dancers had been wearing like flowy skirts, and then those are easily detachable for the Killing Me section. I felt like it would fit the story setting that they're creating better, but that also might have been too much flowy fabric because they're wearing like the icon is wearing like the long trench coats that are like moving around a lot when they're dancing. So yeah. Also, I'm done with my comments. But if anyone was curious about what Korean they said before Chukita starts, we'll tell you in the comments. Ask us. Next.
Okay, so for the final performance of today's episode, it was B2B doing 그리워하다 theater version. So this is their song Missing You, theater version. I'm excited. Let's go.
So loud. Oh. That's different.
What?
Alright, they're wearing sort of like hanboki outfits.
The hand mics.
They're using like traditional instruments. Whoa. Oh.
Oh my god, the silhouettes are literally doing like ballet.
Okay, I was gonna say, is he gonna do his like iconic rap part for this song?
Oh my god, is he gonna dance?
Oh,
The sword.
come. Theater version. They're literally acting it out right now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was a really cool jump because it didn't show it for her.
Oh. Yes, timing.
Okay.
I had been wondering why Minhyuk's outfit was the most like 화려해?
Yeah.
Like
What?
fanciest? resolve.
So as you can imagine, I don't have a ton to say, but they did have dancing and they did have staging in this, so let's talk a little bit, y'all. Okay, so stage fighting, that's the first thing I want to talk about, Minhyuk's stage fight. So the way it's staged is really important, like when you're choreographing something like that, because it's all a timing thing. And like last week I talked in one of the comment sections about stunts and how you shouldn't see like the setup for a stunt if you want it to be really effective. And stage fighting is literally the exact same, arguably more difficult, but in a different way, because the longer you rehearse something, or the more you rehearse something, the more it gets in your body. There's a danger of starting to rush choreography or like anticipate choreography. And so I know one thing that is like a big struggle in stage fighting is not anticipating like I'm about to get hit, so I'm gonna go ahead and like start moving backwards. You really have to wait until the movement's already happened. I didn't really see any of that in this. Like I was sort of constantly wondering like, oh, what's the next thing that's gonna happen? It wasn't obvious, so that was really nice. It was very musical too. Like Anna said, she's like timing, and I was like, yeah, like the slicing, the stabbing, the jumping, the actual fight itself was just another choreographed part of the dance. But like overall, that section was honestly just very athletic, and so the fact that Minhyuk did it made a lot of sense. Also, quick comment about Minhyuk in general, like rapper Minhyuk and his amazing line, like his iconic line in this song, and like on the BTOB videos last week on the Mnet channel, but then also even on our channel, there were people who were like, wait, he's a rapper? And Anna and I are both like, yeah, he's an amazing rapper, like, oh my gosh, check out his stuff, amazing. He does most of his rapping under the name Huta, so Huta, find it. But okay, so Anna said too, like, oh, they're using more traditional instruments, and I was like, yeah, the dance is more classical too. And I can't really talk to traditional Korean dancing because more than just seeing performances, like I don't really have experience with it, but I can say like from the way I'm interpreting it, the dance itself is a lot more balletic, which is a more like classical traditional style of movement, and it just made it very beautiful, especially because it was the white and like the way the lights were reflecting, like it all kind of looked ethereal throughout the whole thing. So like that was really concentrated in the female dancers and like the background dancers. But as for the BTOB dancing, they also did like in their little section where the four of them danced towards the beginning, they used the original choreography. So it was sort of like showcasing that. Just last thing, a couple of other staging things. The beginning with the sheer cloths and seeing him sing through it and then how they all like billowed away like in the wind was just stunning. But the dividers were my favorite part of the staging because they were really like using it in a theatrical way to sort of set up different scenes where they would be coming in and out of it. There was the part where there were the silhouettes. There was one part where they were all singing and it was framed. And so it felt like when you're doing a musical and you're sort of moving the background on stage to sort of create these new scenes because you can't like go to blackout and come back up in between every movement. So since it's theater version, that was what I thought of. But yeah, it's just lovely. Anna's turn.
Hello, so my comments. Peyton already mentioned it, I already said it during the reaction. Obviously, the rearrangement uses more traditional instruments for the stage because the concept that they're going for is more like traditional Korean style. But speaking about their outfits, yeah, I had been wondering the whole time, like, why is Minhyuk so different from everyone else's? And also, I feel like there has to be some sort of, like, meaning. Like, he's taking off the outer layer for a reason. There's symbolism to that. I just don't know what it is. I was like, it's supposed to be, like, a global stage. So, like, the combination of traditional versus modern. Going back to the traditional instruments, I think it's a kayagum that they're using that's really highlighted the most, and then like the different puk sounds, like drum sounds during the fight scene parts. But one thing that I thought was really cool was like, I think I noticed it the most when Eunkwang was singing and like all the dancers are surrounding him when he's just in the center of it, and like a little bit after that when the kayagum is playing, but also like the more orchestral strings that you think of, like violins, violas, are playing at the same time. The way that those work together, because you're like, oh, these are both strings, but they do have like the very distinct different sounds and textures. It's just really beautiful, that combination. Other little things, all the sound effects. The sound effects really happen during like the fight scene and like Minhyuk's whole like solo sort of performance thing that happens, but all the sound effects in time, like timing, like I said, in time with the actions that he's doing, and when he stabs it into the ground, and the lighting and the sound and like everything was perfect for that moment. I was like, yes. Time to talk about vocals. I always feel weird talking about vocals when it comes to BTOB because like, who am I to say anything? but I gotta do it for the video. The group singing at the end, I mean, like, that is in the original song. But also, one thing I was really impressed by, God, we're just really hyping up Minhyuk in this because he goes straight into the group singing moment, like, seconds after he finishes that whole elaborate performance, jumping, flipping around that he did. And I'm like, oh my God, your breath control and also lung capacity and just like overall healthy body to be able to do that. But yes, group singing and also just their voices. Like, if you talk about the different types of singing voices that you need to be able to have, like chest voice, mixed voice, head voice, falsetto, they have all of those and are able to switch between them very, very seamlessly. And the last thing I want to say was, especially the ending sort of outro section when they're moving back to like the trees for the final pose. Different from the original song, there are some more interesting chords thrown in there that are using some non-chord tones, and those really put you on edge and it like keeps it tense, it builds tension because like their whole story that's happened in this performance is really like tense. There's a whole fight that happens. So I thought that was a really nice touch for the arrangement. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. I went over.
It's your turn to TLDR. It's okay.
All right, it's my turn to TLDR. So TLDR for this video is we reacted to Kingdom episode 2, and for the first half of the round 1 performances, these 3 groups definitely brought it. It's wonderful to see like what they're able to do with longer performance time and also having one performance from Kingdom under their belt, what they've learned, what they've decided to experiment with. And we're really excited to see the next 3 groups next week.
Alright, so as always, let us know in the comments if you agree with what we have to say, if you disagree with what we have to say, things that you liked about each of the performances, but just remember, be respectful. Like, all of the groups are working really hard, they're supporting each other. Let's all support all of the groups. No need for fan wars here. And if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you know when our next Kingdom video is out. And